hell's been going on in there?
Don't shoot.
Following our first lead and we get ourselves caught in a laser net. All in a day's work, right?
Smart Alex had a point, but I wasn't gonna let him have the satisfaction of knowing so. There was one good thing about spending hours stuck in a laser net. You got time to think. Who is this guy? Who killed him? And what kind of surveillance was he doing right across from my apartment? And what's in the metal canister? Have 7 years really passed without me remembering it? Is it related to my head injury or the injection mark on my arm?
He dead?
Well, I think you missed a hell of a party.
Party?
Yeah, you're here in time for the laser show.
I wouldn't do that. I was here to meet Carlos Maldonado. Is that you? Or him?
Look, I just stumbled onto this little nightmare, and I need to find out who this guy was and what he was doing. I'm a PI, and I assume this guy is Maldonado. My name's Murphy. Who are you?
Mason said Maldonado was a PI. Were you working with Mason too?
I'll be honest. I don't know if I was working for Mason or not. Actually, I'm having severe memory problems here, so anything you can tell me about Maldonado or Mason or what's in the cryo chamber here would be greatly appreciated.
I think I set off an alarm when I came in here. I don't usually do this kind of thing. I was just trying to help Mason. He said, come in here, find the PI, get the cryo chamber, and keep it safe.
Hey, I found that first.
Slow learner. You have to find Mason. I think he's in big trouble with bad people. I don't know why. He's a neurologist, for God's sake. But you have to promise me that if I let you go, you won't come after me. You'll find Mason.
Oh, I promise. My fingers are so frozen I can't cross them.
If your memory problems are part of all this, Mason is the only one who can help you. So you need to find him and bring him back safe just as much as I do. I'll be in contact soon.
Man, those cops are getting close, but I don't want to leave this place without a clue. I better hurry up and find something before they get here. Not even one crate of mixers. This guy was hardcore. Yeah, tough break, hombre. This SOB's been living up here, watching my every move. Well, that might come in handy. I'll need to find a computer whiz to break the encryption on this memory stick.
Strictly speaking, I would never encourage anyone to break the law, but those sirens are getting awfully close, and a life sentence for a machine can last a very long time. So move!
Nice to meet you, Maldonado. As I try to make my great escape down the ladder, I find two officials waiting to greet me.
Hello, boys.
Well, if it isn't Tex Murphy. What were you doing in there?
Well, it's a little hard to Oh, you know the drill.
I was really trying to get my hands on that surveillance equipment. Maybe I could see exactly what happened to me. Now the only way I'll find it is if New San Francisco's finest decides to play ball with me. I don't know where they'd start now, but I'd better polish up on the old Murphy charm.
Whether you're a mutant or a normal, San Francisco is our home. Be a part of the solution to crime. If you see something suspicious, please report it to the SFPD immediately.
Make it quick, Murphy. I got about a million things to do. And wasting time on you ain't one of them.
Didn't take you long to get in trouble, did it? You here to turn yourself in?
Well, first of all, no. And second of all, Danwich, you know me. You didn't have to send your goons down to get me. If you wanted me to come down, just ask me.
I'm surprised you remember me.
I may not have told anyone this before, but you're actually my favorite patrolman.
In case you didn't get the memo, I head up the department now. And things aren't as loosey-goosey as they were under Malden.
Well, I hope you're more helpful than he used to be. Look, I know this is gonna sound pretty crazy, but hear me out. This morning, I wake up with a massive head injury and an injection mark on my arm. No idea how I got either one of it. Then I talk to a few people, I find out I can't remember anything over the last 7 years.
You're right, it does sound crazy. But, go on.
Thing of it is, my last memory is of me and my lady friend getting shot.
Your lady friend, that was, Chelsea Bando?
Yeah. How do you know that?
Well, I know your burned-out speeder was found a few weeks later with Miss Bando's DNA inside of it.
God. It is true. Chelsea's dead.
We closed the case. Though a few of us thought something didn't feel quite right about it.
What do you mean?
Well, the scene was too staged. But I'm not saying Chelsea isn't dead. The last time anyone saw her was with you at the Golden Pagoda.
What are you saying? I was a suspect?
You were, in fact. I'd have to look at the case. You were cleared at some point.
Can I look at the case files?
Now, you know you can't, so don't even ask. Look, Murphy, I feel for you. But it was a long time ago. Chelsea was pronounced legally dead, and there's no evidence to believe otherwise. I don't know what else I can tell you.
Did you ever catch the guy who shot us?
No arrest. Somebody high up on the chain locked that case down and threw away the key. Even if I wanted to see the file, I'd have to pull some strings.
What can you do to help me out here? I mean, until I see something or get some information, I'm just not gonna be able to believe that Chelsea's gone.
I'm sorry, Murphy, I really am. If you can find me some new clues on the case, I'll do what I can to get it reopened. That's the best I can do for you. Good luck.
No. I don't believe it. My gut tells me she's still alive. But I'll find out one way or the other. So why is it you think I came down here to turn myself in?
Well, we just found you at a crime scene with a dead body. That dead body happens to be Carlos Maldonado, a PI working in the same neighborhood as you. Is that your way of intimidating the competition?
The name Maldonado means nothing to me. And I insist that you give me a polygraph test to prove it.
I was just reviewing your file when you came in.
Is that a lot? Because it looks like a lot.
August 2047. Beek Nariz, NSFPD informant. Beaten and hospitalized after providing information about Tex Murphy. Nariz refuses to identify his assailant. No charges ever filed. November 2048. Surveillance video shows suspected extortionist Jen Lee leaving the Golden Pagoda with Tex Murphy, never to be seen again. The case remains unsolved. Shall I go on? In the past few years, you've gained quite a reputation for yourself. You've got New San Francisco's criminal underbelly running scared.
You're a cop. Isn't that the way you like your criminal underbellies?
We arrest criminals so they could be tried in a court of law. We don't just kill them, and I won't tolerate vigilantism. If you didn't kill Maldonado, what were you doing then?
Well, I'm drawn to laser nets like a moth to the flame. I followed the trail and saw that Maldonado had surveillance equipment aimed at my office. I want to find out what he recorded.
Who cares what he recorded? If you're such an upstanding citizen, you've got nothing to hide, right?
Look, I got jumped last night. I've got no idea who did it. I think there might be something on the surveillance tape, and if you can tell me what happened, I think I can help you on this case. Deal?
I rarely make deals, and I don't need to make one with our only person of interest. Any more questions? I'm not sure what to think of you, Murphy. I have no evidence of an abduction, just a dead body and only one person of interest. It might be in your best interest if you could find out what happened. That whole neighborhood seems to attract more than its fair share of trouble. As far as the coroner and the commissioner were concerned, finding Chelsea's remains in your speeder were enough to pronounce her legally dead. She's an investigative reporter at the Bay City Mirror, one of the less obnoxious ones. I'm not allowed to let you see it. I know Maldonado was a dirtbag, but unless it's in self-defense, killing somebody, even a dirtbag, is a crime and will be prosecuted.
That encrypted memory stick probably has some useful information on it.
Oh, great advice. If you could help me break it, then I'd be impressed. Guess I'll have to see if anyone else on the street can break it for me. It's open. Rumor is Zach Williams, owner of the electronics shop, is tied to organized crime. We've had our problems in the past. For example, the last time I was here, he shot my credit card into 1,000,000 pieces. I'm hoping he's in a little better humor today and doesn't blow my brains out, or even worse.
Okay, I don't want any trouble.
Well, that makes two of us. Last time I was here, you shot my credit. Literally.
Why do you keep hassling me about that? That was years ago. I paid back all those interest charges. Plus interest.
You did? Well, I must say, customer service has gotten considerably better around here.
Everyone knows what happens to people who get on your bad side. Only one reason you ever come in here, and it ain't to buy anything. You know all our stuff is junk.
I just want to know what's going on upstairs.
Look, the guys upstairs don't want any trouble either. They said you can have whatever you want at cost. You can even put it on credit. Then I'll just tear up the bill.
No, I'm talking about literally upstairs. Upstairs.
Look, I know how much you hated Maldonado, and I probably shouldn't have let him use the second floor. But he was paying cash, and he kept a low profile. So I thought it was all good. I didn't know what he was doing up there, and I didn't want to know.
Well, let's see what kind of useful information I can get out of you before I try jogging your memory.
You the man, okay? We good? Look, I told the cops I wasn't here, which is technically true. I just parked out back when I heard the gunshots, so I just started the engine right back up and got the hell out. You live there, so I'm not gonna say a thing about it. That place opened up a couple of months ago. Doesn't look like my kind of joint. I do love Louie's cooking. Just don't ask what's in it and you'll be fine. All I know is you ain't the same guy that came slinking in here 7 years ago. Sorry to hear about that. Is that what turned you into Mr. Badass? I think he's the one who came by to check in on Maldonado. Must have been a client. Don't know anything else about him. I saw him bring in some cameras, so he must have been recording the surveillance. But whatever he had got confiscated by the cops. I sell items to customers, not purchase them. Sure, Maldonado was a creep, but his money spent just the same. He said he needed to do a stakeout of the Ritz. Didn't mention any specific names. Didn't sound like a big deal, and he was offering a good chunk of change. Let's just leave me out of this, okay?
Heck, Malden. That buffoon always got credit for cases I solved. Some pretty intense staring contests have been held right here. Fat chance of that happening. Do you know what kind of creeps live in this place? The ultimate game of Battleship. It's best not to sit on these couches, but if you do, you better be wearing a hazmat suit. Problem with vid phones is you can't call anyone from the bathroom anymore. Well, you shouldn't. Ah, the Presidio. I mean, the Palace of Fine Arts. No, wait, is it the Museum of Science? San Francisco just has too many landmarks. Time to get a new clock. A bell will be placed in the lobby if a clerk is on duty. As I ring the bell, I expect Nilo, but another familiar face pops up from behind the counter. It's Clint. Looks like he's dabbled in some home plastic surgery to cover his empty eye socket. It's amazing what you can do with a tire patch, spray paint, and crazy glue.
Ah, Mr. Murphy, will you be needing some housekeeping done? I can't remember the last time we saw you around here.
Clint? You work here now?
Oh, I guess you wouldn't remember. I heard about your blackout. I used to have those, but they were more brownouts, you know, my old chocolate addiction.
So, where is Nilo? You haven't had to resort to working for that scumbag, have you?
Nilo, man, I haven't heard that name in years. Not since I bought this place from him. The city was gonna condemn it, but Nilo didn't feel like fixing it up, so he sold it real cheap.
Where did Nilo end up?
You mean Nellie? He got a sex change. Yeah, I don't know. He tried to pass himself off as his long-lost twin sister for a while, but that didn't fly.
Well, you've done a bang-up job. You even got rid of the smell. What was that, anyway?
You do not want to know. God, I wish I could get amnesia for that memory. But on the bright side, we've exterminated most of the roaches and reinforced the foundation after the big quake last year, and finally got real fire extinguishers, so no more painted-on safety features. We're up to a 3-star cubic zirconia rating in the Mutant Leisure blog spot now.
Well, with such deluxe accommodations, I'm surprised I'd stay anywhere else. Do you know where I stay when I'm not here?
Nope. You pay me well to keep an extra eye on your apartment and my nose out of your business.
So, you say I haven't stayed here in a while? I must have a place somewhere else.
You kinda dropped out of circulation back in '44. No one around here knows what happened to you. Now you don't either, I guess. You're paid through the end of the year, just like every year. You hardly ever hear these days, but hey, let me get my nose out of your business. That sounded disgusting. Let's change the subject. What can I do for you? You keep being my best tenant, and I'll be your biggest fan. Deal? The cops came by to ask me about that, but I wasn't here at the time. This may not be much, but it's mine, and I love it. Just get the holes patched before you move out, or I will keep your security deposit. Nice guy, but he's got some screws loose. Dumbest name ever for a shop. Look, I know I used to joke with you about Chelsea being in love with me, but that was just my jealousy talking. That's Louis' niece, right? Tall, brunette. Oh. I've got to steer clear of his diner. Too many chocolate memories. Look, I've had my own problems, as you know. I was in a kind of a dark place 7 years ago. Dark, bitter, sometimes nuts, raisins, or God help me, marshmallows. Nice girl for circuits and chips. We don't need to talk about that, do we? That was a real tragedy. Maldonado was spying on you? Are you sure it was you? I can't help you with that. I can barely work a toaster. Maldonado? Nothing but trouble. I steer clear of that hombre. That guy's all mobbed up. so I keep my distance. Me? I'm just living the dream. One chocolate-free day at a time.
Well, this is a flashy new neighbor. Sapphire, eh? That sounds like a fun new neighbor. Oh, I had this door permanently sealed as it opened directly into my bedroom. People thought that was awfully presumptuous of me. That's Rook's pawn shop. Rook's the little gremlin who runs the pawn shop. I've heard that his hard shell is hiding a heart of gold, but if it was, he'd cut it out himself with a rusty soup can lid.
Murphy! Here, let me look at you. Louis told me something terrible has happened. I've been worried sick.
Well, I appreciate the concern, but other than a weird case of amnesia, I'm fine.
But Louis says you're behaving like a totally different person.
Yeah, according to Louis, I've turned into a real bastard over the last 7 years. I think losing my memories brought the old Tex back.
Oh, Lord. Please don't tell me that lump on your head has turned you back into the pathetic, pestering P.I. I used to know. This is a nightmare.
I'm sorry, Rook. I can only imagine how hard this is for you.
It's temporary, though, right? A side effect? Please tell me you'll be changing back.
Come on, I wasn't that bad. Was I?
Look, Murphy, I'll grant you have some detective skills, but it was all relentless, annoying banter and endless questions to me. Imagine my surprise when, over the past few years, you turned into someone I could actually tolerate.
No kidding. So what was it you loved most about the new me?
You cut out all the chit-chat and became a no-nonsense customer who pays in cash. You always seem to have plenty of cash.
Okay, I'll cut the chit-chat. Just tell me where I come up with all this cash.
All my transactions are done in strictest confidence. That hasn't changed.
I'm having a few rough days here, Rook, and all I'm trying to do is get my memory back. I could use a little help.
Fine. Though I don't know anything that could possibly explain what's happened to you. Believe me, I'd tell you if I did. Now I suppose this is where you ask if I mind answering a few questions, but this is not for old time's sake. You became a sullen, short-tempered bully, and I miss that desperately. I heard a commotion and saw a crazed man running willy-nilly down the street and 2 other men in pursuit. I was hoping they would tear that flop house down, and they would have too if it weren't for that meddling Clint. Such an upbeat, chipper little man. Utterly obnoxious. I went there once, never again. What with that herbal tea and incense, it's a veritable gas chamber. Oof. I knew she'd get nothing but trouble being with you. Louis' niece is an absolute delight. What she sees in you is an absolute mystery. A prince among men makes me wish I could still eat solid food. Years ago, after Chelsea disappeared, you came to me looking for leads to some valuable items, among them a lost Fabergé egg. You left the street for a long time. When you returned to Chandler Avenue, you seemed like a different person, darker, more dangerous. I understand you have a thing for holograms. Maybe she's just your type. I'm sure you know much more about that than I. Some say you know exactly what happened. That's the man you think was abducted? The one I saw being chased down the street? I never heard his name before you told me. Why would I know anything about that? If the police confiscated it, I suggest you talk to the police about it. What is that? Maldonado? He puts the P.I. in pig. I heard you two had something of a rivalry going on. At least he knows how to keep his mouth shut. Like I always say, you can take a bum out of a dumpster, but you'll never get a dumpster out of a bum. Next question.
Now that Rooks is open, I'll bet his back gate's open too.